Yo, what's going on? Mike from Mike Talk Sports. Ronda Rousey has just announced she wants to give one more go at the UFC Championship at UFC 300 versus Juliana Pena. This would be an absolutely massive fight for the 135-pound division because over the last couple of years, the title fights between Amanda Nunes and her challenger really have been lackluster, but in my opinion, this would be a phenomenal matchup. So we're going to break down this matchup in order to determine who would win, Ronda Rousey or Juliana Pena. Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor are two of the biggest reasons why MMA is as big as it is today. So to see one of the pioneers of the sport and the pioneer of women's MMA to get back into the octagon would be very exciting. Of course, she hasn't fought since 2015, and even then she had taken a long break from the sport, but she is only 36 years old, so it wouldn't be out of the question to see Ronda Rousey still look good in there in the octagon. Of course, she would be very rusty going in there, but nonetheless, this would be one of the more competitive fights in the history of the 135-pound division for the woman, in my opinion, and I'll break down why. So Ronda Rousey is currently 12-2 in her MMA career. Of course, she is on a 2-loss streak, and before that, she was on an unbeaten 12-fight win streak. She really looked absolutely unbeatable until Holly Holm completely dismantled her. She took a bit of a long break from the sport, and by the time she came back, Holly Holm had gotten beaten by Amanda Nunes, so she went and fought Amanda Nunes for her last MMA fight, and of course she got absolutely destroyed in that fight, getting TKO'd in the first minute. She does have some very nice wins on her record though. She beat Kat Zingano, she did beat Miesha Tate twice, and then she did beat Liz Carmouchen for her UFC debut. All pretty good fighters. Now, Ronda Rousey does have a few fights won by TKO, mainly via some ground and pound, but overall, of course, the name of Ronda Rousey's game is her incredible judo background. She really was a judo prodigy. At 21 years old, she competed in the 2008 Olympics, and she was the first woman's United States representative for judo to ever medal in the Olympics, as she won bronze in the 2008 Olympics. And of course, this judo really did translate to her MMA career, as in every single fight, she basically gets her fighters to the clinch, she goes for a judo throw, and from there, she executes an armbar in 9 submission wins for Ronda Rousey. All 9 of them are armbars, really making her a one-trick pony, but make no mistake about it, she does have a very elite judo skill. After rewatching a bunch of old Ronda Rousey fights in the beginning stages of women's MMA, you can absolutely tell these fights have not aged all that well, as she really does have a significant amount of holes in her game, mainly in the striking department. She has no defense whatsoever, she has zero head movement, and her strikes really are not all that effective. But I'll be completely honest, guys, I was actually pretty surprisingly impressed with some of these Ronda Rousey performances. Now, the only way she can implement her grappling really is from getting to the clinch, and from the clinch, she does like those judo throws, and she does occasionally mix in a trip there. Is she going to land a single leg? Is she going to land a double leg? Is she going to land any takedown that has any technique that has to do with jiu-jitsu or wrestling? Absolutely not. Her jiu-jitsu and wrestling really is about at 0, but it really doesn't need to be all that elite, especially versus Juliana Pena, in which I'll explain why that's the reason. But again, her judo and her judo throws from the clinch are damn elite. No one really has been able to stop them. The only reason that Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm beat her is because Holly Holm did a great job of keeping at distance and really denying the clinch attempts from Ronda Rousey. Then, of course, in the Amanda Nunes fight, Ronda Rousey couldn't even get her hands on Amanda Nunes, as she completely ran through her. Once she takes the fight to the ground, obviously she is going for that armbar, but something that surprised me about Ronda Rousey when I rewatched this fight is how good and how underrated her ground and pound was. She was consistently in her fights getting to extremely dominant positions, getting to side control, getting to top mount, and really raining down these amazing ground and pound shots. She actually has a good amount of power in these ground and pound shots. Not only that, if she can't even get the fight to the ground and she's stuck in the clinch, she actually has some really nice clinch strikes as well. She has some really nice hooks to the body and hooks to the head from the clinch, and she does have very nice clinch knees as well. And this is where the fight is really interesting when we start to look at Juliana Pena and how she's dealt with grapplers in her career. Now, of course, she's known to have really good jiu-jitsu, but her jiu-jitsu, let's be honest, is not all that good. Juliana Pena, in my opinion, is an extremely overrated grappler. She gets absolutely dominated, to be honest, in every single fight with a high-level profile fighter who has solid grappling. I really do think of Valentina Shevchenko, who's much smaller than a Ronda Rousey, and I also think of an Amanda Nunes. Of course, in the second Amanda Nunes fight that just happened, she got absolutely dominated in the grappling department. Her takedown defense is at an absolute zero. Nunes was able to land 6 of 8 takedowns in this fight with 11 minutes and 49 seconds of control time. But what would make me so nervous about this Juliana Pena fight is how she looked against Valentina Shevchenko. I know that was so long ago, but Valentina Shevchenko barely even struck in that fight. She immediately would get her to the clinch, and from the clinch, she actually genuinely looked like a Ronda Rousey game plan in the sense of Valentina Shevchenko was consistently landing trips from the clinch, and again, Juliana Pena had no answer for this. She was getting absolutely dominated by a small Valentina Shevchenko that really could not do anything in the grappling department against a fighter like Tala Santos and against a fighter like Amanda Nunes, not once but twice. So Valentina really has struggled against bigger girls in the grappling department, except for Juliana Pena, which really is a bad sign for Juliana Pena. If she were to fight Ronda Rousey, she would be at such a significant skill and technique advantage in the clinch when it comes to defending takedowns and judo throws. She would consistently, honestly, still to this day, get absolutely ragdolled on the feet in the clinch by Ronda Rousey. In my opinion, again, Juliana Pena has always had really bad takedown defense. Ronda Rousey, even a past her prime Ronda Rousey, would be able to judo throw her a couple times in this fight. And to make matters even worse for Juliana Pena, she got arm barred by Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina Shevchenko, again, literally looked like Ronda Rousey, but a smaller version in this Juliana Pena fight, landing that armbar, and Juliana Pena absolutely did not defend it well. Nowadays, going on to my prediction for this fight, in my opinion, I think Juliana Pena really would struggle in the grappling on the feet in the clinch. I think Ronda Rousey would have her way with her and would consistently be able to land takedowns. The issue for Ronda Rousey really is her rudimentary style on the ground. Now, of course, again, I said she does have very good ground and pound. Other than that, the only submission she can go for really is an armbar. She really has never proven to have any other submission in her arsenal, and I would like to believe at this point in Juliana Pena's career, she can defend a singular submission. She can defend that armbar. So my official prediction for this fight, I think a prime Ronda Rousey absolutely runs through Juliana Pena in the first round. Nowadays, guys, let's be completely honest, the mental aspect of this fight is just such a significant factor. Really, the only thing championship caliber about Juliana Pena, let's be honest, is her solid cardio, her solid chin, her good durability, but most of all, it's that championship mentality and that championship heart she comes to fight with in every single fight, whereas Ronda Rousey really has always been a head case and always has had a very questionable mental. Now, after the 2008 Olympics, she had a bit of a mental breakdown. After her first loss against Holly Holm, she had a bit of a mental breakdown. She had a mental breakdown against Amanda Nunes in that second fight, post-fight, and she even has had a questionable mental in the WWE. So am I going to trust the mental fortitude of Ronda Rousey at this point, guys? No, absolutely not. I think the first round or two are going to be won by Ronda Rousey. I think Juliana Pena will do enough to survive in this round. By the time the third or fourth round comes along, I do think Ronda Rousey is going to gas. I think Juliana Pena is going to be able to reverse position on the ground, where my official prediction is going to be Juliana Pena via a fourth round rear naked choke. In the striking department, I do think in the later rounds of this fight, there will be more and more striking, and as there's more and more striking, both girls absolutely leave their chin on a silver platter, and I think Juliana Pena with that very aggressive offensive mindset on the feet, is going to march forward and consistently land on the chin of Ronda Rousey, which over time I really will think Ronda Rousey will break in that octagon from Juliana Pena. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ronda Rousey be able to land some shots on Juliana Pena, but Juliana Pena has eaten so many shots from Amanda Nunes to the point where I don't think any Ronda Rousey strike or anything she would do on the feet really would affect Juliana Pena all that much. Thanks for listening to today's video, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, do you agree with my take that prime Ronda Rousey would absolutely run through Juliana Pena, but nowadays Juliana Pena would beat Ronda Rousey in the later rounds? If you enjoyed today's video, I really appreciate it, guys. Smack that like and hit subscribe.